I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign.
Jeon, Jungkook and the Unreleased Symphony, a love song left in the night sky. Or how an untold song became eternal. It wasn't a roar of cheers that started it all. It wasn't fireworks. It wasn't the roar of the stage. It was silence. One night. One silent post on Weverse. 5 minutes that felt like watching the sunset through the window of a train that never stops. No caption. No title. Just a video. And in it, a young man sitting in the warm light of a small room, wearing a black hoodie, his eyes puffy, his voice hoarse like the last of autumn's fallen leaves. No flash. Just Jeon Jungkook, not an idol, not an icon, but a human being. Exhausted. Destroyed. Honest. I want to say it like it is, he said quietly. It's time. And the world fell silent. Not because it didn't care, but because everyone suddenly understood that they were watching someone release a burden that couldn't be carried in song. I love her. For a long time. But I'm afraid. Because this love shouldn't hurt anyone. Especially her, who makes me feel alive, even when I've been dead inside for a long time. Those words weren't a confession. But like a window opened on a stuffy night. Air came in. Along with a question, who is she? She's nobody in the eyes of the world, Jungkook continued. But she's everything to me. She read my lyrics before I wrote them. Hear my breath before I let it out. Catch my tears before they fall. And from those words the world knew. That person is gone. It's been a few years, he whispered. But she's still alive in my music. In every verse. In every whisper of the night. And since that night, Jungkook's songs have changed color. Still With You is no longer a lullaby, but a poem for the spirits that live between the notes. My you feels like a letter that never arrived. Standing next to you became a prayer that could only be answered in dreams. The fragments of his sentences became a hug that was never given. If you can't love me in real life, love me through a song. And Jungkook loved. Every day. Without a name. Without a reply. Fans began searching. Matching. Remembering. Some mentioned Sunshine from an old interview. Some believed this was a first love lost in an accident. Others were convinced that he wasn't a person, but a soul. A soul that now lives in every song. HYBE didn't speak. The rest of BTS was silent. But rumors spread. Jeon called that night. Suga came in secret. And Jimin cried alone in his room while replaying the video. And from that moment on, Jungkook's concert changed. It wasn't just about the voice. It was about the soul. The stage lights went out for 10 seconds before the encore. In the darkness, only one voice could be heard, quiet, almost like a prayer. If you can still hear, I haven't stopped writing for you. There was no applause. Just a soft sob. Because true love doesn't need a stage. It needs the courage to live in silence. And then a movement was born, sky letters. Blue letters folded into birds. Released into the sky. In the middle, Jungkook, without makeup, without a spotlight, sitting still with a white envelope in his hand, an envelope that was never opened. And the public understood. What matters is not who is in the song, but how love is lived. Not displayed. Not asked to be remembered. Just written. Sung. Released slowly into the night wind. A few months later, small changes appeared. Jungkook lowered his head more often when singing. Stared at the stadium ceiling longer. And in Tokyo, a new song was sung without announcement. Its title, The Door I Never Closed. The song was never released. But it was recorded on the audience's phones. The lyrics were like wounds that were still raw. I still turn on the lights. For you who didn't come home. I keep your footsteps. In the hallway of dreams that I didn't close. And that love which used to be hidden is now present as an echo. Not to be understood. But to be felt. HYBE finally spoke. But not through a press conference, but through an art exhibition, Echoes of You. A quiet room, personal headphones, the sound of Jungkook's heartbeat, whispers of lyrics that were never recorded. And at the end of the room, a bench. A white screen. A single sentence. Have you ever loved so deeply that you couldn't even say its name? People sat. Cried. Didn't want to go home. Because that room wasn't just an installation, but the wall of Jungkook's heart that could finally be touched. In his only subsequent interview, Jungkook said, "There are people who never come back but also never leave. Music is the only way to keep her alive. Without hurting me. Without burdening anyone." And when asked if you could talk to her one more time, what would you say? Jungkook answered softly, "I still have one empty seat at my concerts. That seat is for you." Since then, his concerts have always had one seat in the front row, surrounded by white rope, decorated with paper flowers. No one sits there, but everyone knows it's the most crowded seat. Now, every time "Still With You" is played, thousands of hands raise a heart card. Inside it is written a shared mantra: "You may not exist in our world, but you live in the songs." And after the concert is over, Jungkook always approaches that seat, bows his head, smiles softly, as if to say, "Okay, I sang it all. As you asked." Time passes. The world changes. But this story remains. Because as long as the song is still playing, as long as the chest still feels tight when night falls, love never dies. And though Jungkook never says his name, the world calls him by another name, the never-ending song. And so, an unreleased song has taught us more than thousands of verses ever sung. Not about who is loved, but how love lives on silently behind every note and breath. In a world full of glitter, it turns out silence is the most honest way to love. Thank you for watching and feeling this story with us. If Jungkook's voice is a home, then this story is a window left open for all of us to peek inside, even if only for a moment, even if never really entering. Because in every song that flows, there is a part of us that is also calmed, healed, or even reminded of our own loss. See you in the next video, only on K-Pop Update Hub, where every story is not just news, but a piece of our hearts that we have not had the chance to express. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave your comments. Because maybe your story is also waiting to be sung.